Another mastermind hit.
Hi everyone, my name is Juanita Brent. I just happen to be a state representative for Ohio House District 12. I am so glad that we are here for the Ohio Cannabis Lobby Day. When I tell you it has been a journey, I've literally broken a leg to make this happen. Not literally, but I did break my leg to make this happen. But I'm so glad to have everyone here. We are here at the State House, which is also better known as the People's House. Everyone in this room belongs here. If you are at home, this is where you belong. This is your house. This is where you belong to fight for yourself. Today we are fighting for cannabis. And the reason why we're using cannabis and not marijuana, because we're just gonna get real historical. Marijuana is a slang word. We are better than that. We are dealing with people who are patients, educators, cultivators, people who are just interested in the topic. And the first thing we have to do is educate the outside public on how we want to address this plant. Again, how we address this plant. Not a drug, not a street substance, how we address this plant. Something that used to be grown in people's backyards, something that used to be grown any old type of place with very little maintenance. That's what we are fighting for, access to a plant that can help and save so many lives. In this journey, I've met so many wonderful people. I'm gonna shout out some names. If I don't include your name, just trust me, blame the medicine on my broken bone and not my heart. But in this journey of even being in this cannabis space, it really took me outside of the country. And I tell everybody about my first time going to Japan and taking a boat ride in Japan. And remember having the tour guide tell us, hey, those little rafts right there have hemp on it. And I was like, well, what's hemp? This is like 15 years ago. I was like, what's hemp? Never heard of hemp, never saw hemp before. And they said, well, we use hemp to filtrate the water. So when you go out there on the boat, you see all these rafts with hemp on it, and the roots are in the water. They were using hemp to filtrate the water. And at that moment, I was hooked. Now, 15 years ago, I did not think I was about to be a state rep. I was not thinking about making laws, but that moment let me know how far behind we as Ohioans, we as Americans are when it comes to this plant. For those who are at home, hemp is a cousin of cannabis, so they're all interrelated. For those who are wondering what hemp is, I sometimes have to explain that to people because some people don't know what hemp is. But it looks just alike. It looks just alike, just smells just alike. For those who are experienced people, you're like, why is she explaining hemp? Because trust me, I talk to people all the time. They don't know what hemp is. So I saw this hemp product and I said, we as Americans have to do better. And they were so far advanced, even when it came to construction, when it came to what they were doing on the medical side, light years ahead of us, where we didn't even have anything that looked even similar to that 15 years ago. And so I just told myself, I said, if I get a chance to do something with this, to expand upon this, I'm going to do that within my journey. Now, deciding to run for office was a very interesting journey because you come across a lot of different people. I'll shout out Wendy and Tim Johnson. They were one of the first people I met before I ran for office, just going to one of their events about cannabis. And so even meeting them was a journey within itself of just learning. We have to be in a place where we are learning about cannabis, where we're educating and learning about what cannabis does, what it doesn't do, about this plant that we have here that can be such a resource within our country as well as particularly within our state. We have to realize that a couple hundred miles above us, we have Michigan. Do you guys know Michigan has adult use? I'm talking to the crowd right now, but I'm talking to somebody at home who does not know that Michigan has adult use. And what they're doing, they're making money, tons of money that they can use for roads, for bridges, for schools. And it's not just a Colorado thing. It's not just a bunch of hippies on the road, you know, and it's very much a huge lifestyle of what's going on within Michigan. And it's very safe. You go past these dispensaries, people are in line, people are sitting in their cars, they can't get out if you know what's going on, but because of the pandemic, everyone has to sit in their car. and wait in line to get things from their dispensaries. And it's very orderly, and it's in all different types of communities, poor communities, rich communities, suburbs, the city, and they're making it work because they understand the value of having access to a plant within itself. This journey of even talking about cannabis, we're gonna have to address the monkey in the room, because I would not be me if we didn't address the monkey in the room when people talk about the war on drugs. Ugh. Now, the problem when you say the statement, the war on drugs, cannabis is a plant. Now, if we were talking about crack, if we were talking about cocaine, if we were talking about some other things, those are drugs, those are processed. Those are things that you manufacture and you develop. But we know cannabis is not a drug. It's medicine, it's a plant, it's a lot of things, but it's not a drug. So that slang of even how it's being used is happening all over, and we have to stop that. I'm holding everyone in this room accountable that has to say, when you hear somebody say the war on drugs and they try to equate that with cannabis, I'm holding you and you and you and you guys too, that you will not allow people to talk like that about cannabis. Now, with us being here with this journey, we're talking about cannabis, we had this time where people were unjustly incarcerated. They're still being unjustly incarcerated. Even in a time of it being legalized, we still have disproportionately Black and brown people who are being incarcerated. They might be your cousin, your mother, yourself, who might have had a roach. They might have had a little bit of something, and now it's taking them away from the possibility of getting a student loan, taking them from the possibility of getting a license in the hemp industry, because now if you have any type of drug-related offenses in the state of Ohio, you cannot get a hemp license. Make it make sense that we are overly criminalizing people who had already done their time. So in this time of our state, we've seen many things come up. We've seen ballot initiatives come and go, fail. We've had multiple languages from people like myself and even from some of my other colleagues. Shout out to Rep. Ferguson for showing up, thank you, in his bill that he's introducing with Rep. Calendar. And we've also had things that have never even received a hearing. Enough is enough. Ohio, the change has to start with us. We have to have equity when it comes to our licenses. We have more than 114 licenses. It's only a handful of them that belong to Black and brown people, 9 to be exact. But the people who've been overly criminalized by it have been Black and brown people by the tune of 70% of people. Enough is enough when it comes about talking about a plant. We have to have access for patients. You know, I thank so many people in this room for helping me push House Bill 60, which helped legalize for autism to be considered as a medical condition for medical cannabis. That received 3 hearings. We're waiting on that last one to get that pushed out for a vote. Enough is enough when it comes to giving access to children so they can help them when it comes to autism. Enough is enough when it comes to people who want to be caregivers, who just want to help compassion care, and they can't do that here within the state. Enough is enough that we don't have adult use, not recreational, because we're not playing no games, adult use cannabis here within the state of Ohio over a plant. And if we're saying as a state, we are pro-business and we are pro trying to look for other ways of revenue, this is the key. Because you can't tell me what's happening in Illinois, Michigan, and other states that are right around us, and even what's about to happen in Pennsylvania, and then think to ourselves that people want to stay here in Ohio. On a very basic level, Ohio just lost a congressional district. And as much as my colleagues like to try to rationalize why people are leaving, you don't think if we legalize adult use cannabis, people will want to stay here in the state? We are pushing people out of the state, out of ignorance about a plant. This journey has taken me a lot of places and it's connected me with a lot of people. And I just want to acknowledge some people. Thank you, Natasha, for what you've done for helping people get expungements off their records. I want to thank Allie for holding my hand a lot of times through this journey of introducing me to people and just really getting me to where I need to do. You know, I want to thank Potheads Genius for having videos that really just educating people about people in the community who are working with cannabis. I think I want to thank Benelli's for taking me on a tour of their dispensary. I want to thank the Ariana Kirkpatrick, who is not here. She's the only Black woman who's vertically integrated from cultivation, production, and dispensary here within the state of Ohio. I want to thank Julie for always opening up her life, her family, and her hemp farm to educating me and my colleagues about hemp and what the importance of it is within our state. But that list it sounds like a small list, but there's so many people. I could go on and on about the people who've been with me on this journey when it comes to working on cannabis. But we have to do more. So what I charge, and I'm about to wrap up, is that everyone that's here and everyone that's at home, you contact every legislator, all 132 legislators in the Senate and in the House, and you tell them we need equity when it comes to licenses, we need better access for patients when it comes to cannabis, and we need adult use cannabis, period. If you are not pushing for equity, if you're not pushing for access for patients, and if you're not pushing for adult use, you are going against the cause of what we need to do here within the state of Ohio. This would be a waste of our time here at the State House, which is the People's House. So I thank you so much for Manilac and for Anthony for organizing this. Shout out to Anthony in the back. I see he's on the computer making sure we look good on TV. Please make sure I look slim and a right angle. Make sure my boot's not in the angle of this video. But I thank everyone for showing up. This is our day. Don't get comfortable with this, because trust me, it was a lot of hoops and barrels to even get us there. But today is our day. And we are going to show them that cannabis is what the people want. And we're gonna keep showing up. So I thank you so much. My name is Juanita Brent. I'm State Representative for House District 12. Thank you.